and welcome to the fifth and final part of the route analysis videos for Travelling Taiwan Series 1. In today's episode I'm going to be covering days 11, 12 and 13, which were my final days around Taiwan's coast back in 2022. These videos are for people who have watched Series 1 of Travelling Taiwan and wanted a little bit more insight into exactly where I went during my trip. If you haven't watched Travelling Taiwan Series 1, I recommend going and watching that now before watching these videos. And with all that said, let's get into it. Alright, so this is the route that I took on day 11. So let's zoom into where I stopped in Geelong. So the first thing I did that day was I stopped next to the harbour to take a picture of Geelong's famous sign, which is up on the hill here. And then I headed back eastwards because there was something I wanted to see that I had missed the day before, and it was here in this area is Shen'ao Harbour, and it's famous because if you take a very small hike you can get to Shen'ao Elephant Trunk Rock, which is here, and as you can see from the shadow it used to have a trunk. And if you watch my videos you will know that something happened to that, but I did make a video of it there. So after that I headed back toward Geelong, and then I went onto this island and I wanted to enter this geopark, but by the time I got there I thought I didn't really have time to see everything I wanted to see if I entered there, so I just decided to continue on because I had some very interesting things that I knew I wanted to see. So I went back through Geelong, heading to the north coast, just following the coast. And then I got to this area. And this area is the Wanli UFO village. And it's called the UFO village because it has these Futuro houses that look like UFOs. So as you can see, this is the famous yellow one that many people take photos of, with the lighter one next to it. And there were a couple of yellow ones over here that I had a close look at, and there were a couple over here, and there were also these other weird looking houses that were mostly demolished. So it was very interesting. I recommend visiting if you haven't. And then I headed further north, still close to the coast, but then I had to go through a tunnel which took me over here, still on the north coast, and just following it. This is a little detour I had to take because I was low on petrol, so I filled up and then continued on. And this 7-Eleven, in the video you might have remembered that I went to this 7-Eleven and I stopped there for an hour because the rain was crazy. It was a full-on monsoon and I was stuck in this 7-Eleven. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to continue on to the next area I had in mind, but thankfully after an hour the rain calmed down a bit. So then I left and then made my way to my next important destination, going along the coast again. And getting to here. This area is Fugway, so I parked my scooter here and then I followed this footpath all the way past the beach, past the rocks, to Fugway Cape Lighthouse. This counts as the northernmost point of Taiwan. It was very nice to get there. So I wanted to try and get to at least Taipei by the end of the day. Again, I stuck by the coast and headed southwards, getting to the coast as much as I could along the way. And this part, I was planning on seeing something around here, but I kind of got lost, so I just headed back on the road and just decided to head on into Taipei. So just continued south, getting closer. I crossed the river here, and then I crossed another smaller river, followed this little area, and then crossed the river into the main center of Taipei. And this is Taipei main station here, and I was in the hotel in the building over here. That was the end of day 11. So let's move on to day 12. Okay, here is day 12. So on this day I went from Taipei City here to Zhongli in Taoyuan. So let's have a closer look. So I left the hotel and I headed over to the Kai-shek Memorial Park. Had a look at these buildings up close, and then I took some photos of this Chinese style building. I went up the stairs around, took some more photos of the area, walked right up to the memorial here, went up the stairs, had a look inside, had a look out to here, and then I left and I went over to the Taipei South Gate. I got lunch, I went around a little bit, I headed further over because I wanted to see Taipei 101, but I wanted to see it from a special angle. Taipei 101 is right here, so you can see it here, you can see the shadow, and I went to here, and this street has a brilliant view of the corner of Taipei 101 right here. You can look down the street and it faces directly onto Taipei 101. So it's a special view of Taipei 101 that not many people show. And then I went around through the city and just trying to get to my next area. Here I crossed the bridge. I kind of got confused, took a few wrong turns, eventually found my way onto the right road and followed the river, and then crossed the river where I was the day before, and then I got to this bridge. Now this bridge, I should have just drove past it, but I didn't realise, I thought I had to cross it. If you know the story, the phone I had at the time wasn't very good and it took me on the wrong road now and then. So I did cross over this bridge 4 times, but I did eventually find my way off it, and I continued on along the riverside to here. This is Bali Old Street. And Bali Old Street is right next to the river. You can take a ferry across to the other side, and there was many food stalls, many traditional things. And this is also the place where I saw the dancing statue, and I did record a full part of that, which is in my secret playlist that is easy to access if you want to see the full dance. And then I just went along next to the river again, and I was going to start heading down the coast toward Taoyuan. a little stop here, took some photos on the beach and looked around here for a little bit. I continued following the main road down the coast. Here I took a little detour because there was an eagle statue I wanted to find, so I had to go up the hill, and then I eventually got to the Eagle of Dagu Mountain observation deck, and then I continued on down the hill back onto the main road. I couldn't get onto the correct side from here, so I had to make a little U-turn, and I had to go over here, go down this road a little bit. I only went about here, turned around, and then got back on the main road. And I followed it, turned off here to get some petrol and also stop at this 7-Eleven. After that, continued through. So eventually back on the main road. Down to Baishajia Lighthouse, and by the time I got there it was dark. The lighthouse was on but you couldn't really see anything, so I didn't explore, and I decided just to head into Zhongli to spend one more night on the trip. So a lot of fields to drive past, and I eventually got into Zhongli, and that was the end of day 12. And for the final day, day 13, from Zhongli back to the starting point, New Moon Beach. So let's have a closer look at my final day. I left the hotel and just started heading toward the coast, just to head down the coast, because that's what I was doing this entire trip. And I found this place on the way back, and this is a special little cultural park. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it up on the screen. Anyway, I went there, explored it for a little while. Then I started heading back toward the coast, as usual, to the place that I was the night before, Baishajia Lighthouse. It was daytime, so I explored around it a little bit, and pretty sure I went down to this bridge here, had a look around, quite interesting. Then I continued on, heading south. So I got to here, and this is where I stopped to look down the coast toward my ending point, but it was so windy you could not hear what I was saying really. I just headed south, taking little diversions to go past this impressive temple on the way, and just trying to get to the ending point before it got dark. So I did take a little diversion here because I wanted to show Hukou Old Street. So I drove in, got to Hukou Old Street, and then I wanted to show you Fengqi Sunset Trail. So I went to the cliff next to it here. And I have made videos featuring both of these areas, so if you are interested you can go and watch those to give you a bit more of a look into those areas. And after that I was heading to my final stop of the trip, which was New Moon Beach, where I had started 13 days before that. Saw a crab, spun around, talked to the camera. Luckily it wasn't as windy as the first day I was there, and I was celebrating my ending of the trip. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel to see my future videos, and some very special videos are coming soon. You do not want to miss what is coming up. If you enjoyed this video and want to see the full series of Traveling Taiwan, you can click up here to watch the full series, or you can click here to watch another video of mine, and of course you can click over here to subscribe to my channel. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.